To wrap up kind of my social explanation, kind of beginning to my Have You Ever video book, has to do with the words, the emotional restraint, the behavior, the gestures, all of the kind of new etiquette in place for reasons, partly related to, just frustration with government, frustration with the United States of America's culture and plainness and boringness and, you know, capitalism. And to not completely go away from a similar kind of emotional response to the world. With me being an example similar to, psychology and psychiatry, being a similar example with psychiatry and psychology, and making psychological cognition to lessen the systems and processes and increase awareness, attention, consciousness, and making a person less distracted, less emotionally nervous or worried or upset and addicted. Drugs, like they make people feel like they climbed Mount Everest and then go down the mountain and go to other, made up fictional places and, have these psychedelic extraterrestrial experiences, these parts of time that they lived on their own or in a group. But the world, the world outside of the ashram here now, well, they're, quarantined and bunkered and, living on buckets of survival food, maybe, not to be too rude or, comical, because it's pretty dangerous, but there's just been too many commercials with buckets of like 1,000-year life food where people are just eating straight out of them. Just like when you are in that mode of survival, you just go and you start eating. Like, man, I'm a caveman and barbarian for, my refrigerator. It's why I put my business sign on it, for Blue Circle Technology. Like, yeah, that is not a part of the ashram I mess around with. That'll make you see the stars and sing a song to have a memory, honor the dead and the gone. In this togetherness, I was in college up north in a more liberal school. So Mr. Former President Barack Obama got elected, and everybody was excited. Change. It was pretty. I loved his books. Dreams of my father. Still, I think. Breathtaking language in that thing. The separation, though, from the language and the really you know importance of having that clear, that concise, that exact word people understand. Helps the brain, it's good to understand, but doesn't solve that top down. And what the bottom up does for energy. All brain, all the time, all technology, all games, all TV, all movies, all stereo, all forever. Cause like this, like ugliness, like not ugly, I don't think anybody's ugly. I think my social worker was being very mean. But the ugliness of the face, it starts to just feel like you're on like a fast, like a speedboat, just going. You're like, whoa, you're like grabbing on, and the boat captain's like. And then you get to the other side of Puget Sound, and you're like, whoa, what a ride. The whole brain, body, mind still have language, still have audacity and hope and change and health for all. But start to not just provide more services, provide more social assistance, and provide more emotional calm and cohesiveness. And let people dress up as bananas with a bag full of peanut butter and jelly downtown. Sandwiches. Let's a person like me get tattoos of Gandhi and, Om, and build an ashram. And not be arrested for cultural misappropriation or some sort of religious falsehood. And starts to get rid of this synchronized, almost simulated kind of interaction in public in the world. The North Korean dialect, stand-up comedy doesn't come out of my mouth to make fun of them, The words come out of my mouth to lessen the vulgarity, to lessen the requirements from a person who leads a part of the world with brute force. And doesn't allow freedom. To get an eviction notice. You get an eviction notice over there, 10 days till you go to prison camp. No ifs, ands, or buts, no stupid freaking sloth, because then you might get the firing squad, not to be too judgmental, but they say, oh, you're not fit to live. And not being a benefit to the greater good of their social world, their social life, their social order, and what keeps them safe, secure, and not, revolutionary. not trying to overthrow the leader of the country who does not share power and control, does not share decision making. And the revolutionary, communist, socialist, systems and processes and names and numbers and forms and free stuff can be eliminated with people getting not only the world better and not being afraid to have a conversation because someone might declare that you're a racist white nationalist who's killing conscious and emotional beings. Eat meat. But the goals and the purposes of the cohesion are why I didn't not like, why I enjoyed being in a liberal school. I thought it was a good perspective to learn. Same with the Tibetan shop I volunteered. Friends with Bernie Sanders helmets and friends with, Hillary Clinton stickers and friends with most other stuff, but never anybody Republican or anything like that. That was just like wishy-washy, like a false belief. But that false belief told to another human in the world has restricted freedom and restricts and restricts and restrains and restrains and restrains freedom. 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 And can cause laughter sometimes. And eviction notices. And so to conclude, more crazy wisdom, more people yelling and screaming, and more people going out afterwards. Satisfied with knowing they've met someone who makes them feel warm, happy, joyous, stronger, and safer. And not just a consciousness process in the system of social world. Good gosh, all you gotta do is get one of those little sparkly, darkly, shiny, diny, spinny, dinny winnies. Find an ashram, and then, be an adult. Well, you just stare at the wall and drink your tea, and talk about Karl Marx and Theodore Adorno and minimum moralia. And also, throw a water balloon across the room and you're like, oh, that's so messed up. And you're like, oh, fuck. And, right now the reaction's like, oh, I'm gonna fuck them up. But not choosing the violent duality of, it was a good choice or it was a bad choice or there were better options.